Hi, folks. Welcome to Curtis Goes Corner. Are you tired of all the progressives and leftists constantly whining, arguing, and protesting? Are you sick of their bull? Do you wish they would just shut up? Shut up! Do you want unfiltered commentary? Well, you've come to the right place. Curtis Goes Corner. Progressives, this is your trigger warning. Hi, folks. Welcome back to Curtis Goes Corner. From the Hill. One of my favorite people. Emphasis on the sarcasm. Speaker Nancy Pelosi. She might have a hard time becoming sane speaker. Wow. COVID-19 could complicate Pelosi's path to speaker next year. Well, they burned everything down to the ground, including the Democrat Party, to get rid of Donald Trump. What did she expect? They got slaughtered in the congressional races. What are they down to now? 5 or 6? And there's still 2 pending. In fact, where I live in upstate New York, in New York 22, it's between Claudia Tenney and Anthony Brindisi. She's the former Congress member, and he beat her 2 years ago, and she's trying to get her seat back. She's ahead by 14 votes now, and on election night, she was ahead by 28,000. Things they make you go, but I digress. She'll probably lose that seat too, or at least I'm praying, because I think she's really good, and I'll tell you, it's not good to have one-sided government. One-sided government is bad, bad, bad. Anyway, folks, let's see how the perils of Pauline, those of you that are older to remember that, the perils of Nancy. It's not because my ex-wife has the same first name. That's not why I dislike her. Just kidding. She's an unlikable person. They say Trump is. But you know what they say personally, one-on-one, Trump is very charming and cool. She's got, as my grandma used to say, she's got the personality of an egg. I mean, it's, I'm sorry, she does. Well, let's read on. As Speaker Nancy Pelosi seeks the support to keep the gavel for another term, her allies are keeping close watch on a potential wild card that could complicate her path next month, COVID-19. Now, as I do this recording, you see on the left there, Trump did sign the bill. So I don't think they got the 2,000. I'm not sure. I'll have to get the details on it. But I'm sure all that pork is still in there. All those nonprofits with hundreds of millions of dollars, corporations, and all kinds of foreign aid that should have went to the American people. So they told the American people was this: we're going to borrow $1, but we're going to give away 80 cents of it and give you 20 cents. And by the way, you got to pay back the whole $1. What a great deal. Sucks. Pelosi is already facing a much slimmer majority in the next Congress after Democrats were clobbered at the polls in November, meaning she can afford far fewer Democrat defections than the 15 who opposed her 2 years ago. Well, yeah, she got 15 because she knew she had enough. She didn't have to work on them, and I'm doing air quotes when I say this. And lawmakers must be present on the floor to cast their vote for Speaker, precluding the option for members to vote remotely, as many have done throughout the pandemic. The plot thickens. The combination of factors creates the chance that Democrats could face a dilemma on January 3rd in which Pelosi locks up their Democratic support to remain Speaker, but coronavirus concerns, illnesses, quarantines, or otherwise prevent a sufficient number of them from being in the Capitol to log their votes. Yeah, they scared the bejesus out of everybody day after day, 24/7. Week after week, month after month. It's been 10 months now since they scared the hell out of every American they could possibly think of. You see people walking around outside with nobody around them with their masks on, driving around their cars alone with their mask on. I mean, they got people that scared. It's just such a shame. And I don't want Democrats to take this the wrong way, but it's true. These people stay in power and low information voters. I'm sorry, it doesn't mean they're stupid. They just don't know what the reality is. All they've been spoon-fed day after day is, it's going to kill you, 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 it's going to kill you. That's all they hear every day. And they got people scared to death. That's why these draconian lockdowns aren't getting more protests as they should. or businesses banding together in a town and say, F you to the mayor or the governor. We're staying open. Because everybody's scared, including these ridiculous Democrat Congress members, who a lot of them are walking away, thank God, or getting pushed away, I should say. A failure of Pelosi to secure support from half the voting members would, at the very least, throw the process into chaos. In the Democrats' nightmare scenario, the math would tilt so far in the Republicans' favor that he yields a GOP speaker. Good. I like balanced government. Democrat majority, GOP speaker, and hopefully the Republicans can hold the Senate. Yeah, then you might have to finally work together, but the Democrats won't do it. They won't do it. This is about power and control, folks. Let's say just theoretically that we had 6 or 8 people out with COVID and the Republicans have none. They probably could elect Kevin McCarthy, said Representative John Yarmouth, Democrat from Kentucky, referring to the House GOP leader. Lawmakers were reminded of their vulnerability this week when 5 more members of the House tested positive for COVID-19, bringing the total number of infected lawmakers to at least 35 since the pandemic hit the U.S. roughly a year ago. With that in mind, Pelosi's supporters say it's an outbreak over the holidays, not Democrat detractors, that pose the single greatest threat to Pelosi's otherwise expected speakership victory next month. Yeah, outbreak over the holidays. You had Christmas with your family and some very close friends and relatives. How dare you? You're interfering with me being speaker. We have to ruin Christmas for everybody in the country. I have to remain speaker. Me. That's all it is. We're in a health crisis, right? No one can get sick. That's the X factor here, said one House Democrat, a Pelosi ally who spoke anonymously to discuss a sensitive topic. Yeah, because if you speak freely about something, she'll kill you. She'll take you out the knees. We need everyone to be healthy. That's the big fear. Some of those fears are being assuaged with the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccine. To protect the continuity of government, House and Senate lawmakers have the opportunity to receive a vaccination in the Capitol from the meeting attending physician. Pelosi and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell were among the first to get their shots on Friday. As the vaccine is being distributed, we must all continue mask wearing, social distancing, and other science-based steps to save lives and crush the virus, Pelosi tweeted alongside a photo of her getting the vaccine. Since when? Since when have these Democrat morons, governors, Congress members, senators with a D in front of their name, gave a good damn about science-based steps? Since when do they care about any of that? Now the World Health Organization says the lockdowns are actually causing more harm than good. They ignore that. Fauci says wear a mask. Then he says don't. And then he says you can social distance. Then you can't. Schools can go open. Then you can't. No, whatever fits in their narrative, that's the science they choose. They're flat earthers. That's what I call them, flat earthers. But many House lawmakers told The Hill they've been able to stay healthy all year by sheltering in place and avoiding the Capitol completely. Emergency rules pushed through by Democrats in May have allowed lawmakers to vote remotely or by proxy. Don't like that proxy voting at all. That meant elderly members, those battling cancer and other diseases, or those caring for small children may have not needed to fly back to Washington each week for votes. On December 18th, for example, nearly 90 Democrats voted by proxy. Don't like the proxy. You want to do it online? I could probably live with it, but you should be there. Unbelievable. But the proxy voting rules expire with the new Congress. Good. Requiring lawmakers to be in the Capitol in person if they want to participate in the January 3rd floor vote for Speaker. Well, you know what, though? They want their pensions. They want their platinum plan health insurance that they pay nothing for. Did you know that if a person is a Congress member for one lousy 2-year term, they automatically get a pension? Did you know that? There's no number of years required like most state or municipal employees before you can get a pension. They can be there for a lousy 2 years and they get a pension. You know what? Too bad. Too bad. Get some PPE and come in and do your job. The House will adopt new rules package governing the 117th Congress just after the Speaker vote. That makes the physical attendance tantamount to Pelosi's success, since Democrats are on track to have a razor-thin majority of 222 seats, and at least 3 moderate members of the caucus are already on record saying they don't intend to vote for Pelosi on January 3rd. Connor Lamb, Jared Golden, and Alyssa Slotkin, I should say. Yeah, too bad. Too bad. You guys created this ridiculous lockdown fear and just destroyed people's mental health and their businesses, and just tore them all down, and didn't give a damn for the average person. Just cared about winning. Control power. Complicating the matter, several Democrats have ongoing health concerns unrelated to the coronavirus that have kept them from the Capitol for much of the year. A handful of COVID-19 cases on top of that, some fear would sink Pelosi's prospects. All right, so they're not going to vote for Pelosi. Who will they vote for? I'm not sure how it works, but I would assume they'll put up nominations for Speaker. Pelosi would be one of them, of course, and the other one will be Kevin McCarthy, the minority leader in the House of Representatives, the Republican. Whoever gets the most votes wins. I'm assuming there's going to be more than one. Maybe there'll be 3 or 4. Who the hell knows with these morons? COVID is the wild card for Representative Hank Johnson, Democrat of Georgia. If we have sick members who cannot come back and we only have a 4-vote majority, it throws our entire advent of the 117th Congress in peril. A smooth advent. Well, I know in New York 22nd, where I live, I don't think it's going to be solved, illegal, by January 3rd, which means we will technically have no representation in Congress. You can't have the current Congress member just spill over into a new term without the courts or the judge upstate here okaying it. So there's going to be 2 or 3, I think, congressional districts that have no representation during this vote. And guess what? They're all incumbent Democrats. Too freaking bad. Johnson warned that a chaotic speaker vote on January 3rd would highlight internal party divisions at exactly the wrong time. I don't give a damn about your highlight your party divisions. Just 2 days before a pair of special Senate elections in his home state, which would decide who controls the upper chamber for the next 2 years. Too bad. Too bad. This is the road you chose. You chose to burn the whole thing down to defeat Donald Trump. Well, you know what? You're going to have to live with the repercussions. The implications that it would have on the races in Georgia. It is unsettling. Too bad. Too bad. To avoid such a scenario, a number of Pelosi's allies are informally whipping the Speaker's critics in hopes they could back Pelosi for the sake of party unity, or at least vote present, which would not count against the majority. Coward. Any Democrat that does this and doesn't want to vote for Pelosi and just votes present, vote them out next time. Vote them out. Check and see if your Democrat Congress member votes present and automatically vote them out. Got to have some backbone. You created this ridiculous situation, and now you're not taking responsibility for it. As part of the pit, some lawmakers are warning the detractors that they're threatening the health of sick colleagues. Horse shit, sorry. You know what? That just came out, but I can't help it. It is horse crap. By forcing them to return to the Capitol to counter no votes. Too bad. You created this situation. Just for whatever it's worth, Department. I'm looking at the picture here when fishing goes hilariously wrong. And there's a girl there laying in a bikini with 2 guys. That's hilarious. That'll be considered by these members who are exercising a political prerogative, that by doing so, they're putting someone who is fighting off a really difficult illness in a position of having to risk it to offset their political prerogatives. So the Democrat lawmaker, horse shit. Sorry, I said it again, but I don't care. That's horse shit, period. You're scared to death. You did this. You burned this place down. And now you're standing in the ashes of it and you're saying it's not my fault. Too bad. It's frustrating because it's turned into something bigger than it should be, the lawmaker added. Yeah, it is a big deal. It was like a quaint anecdote for people who could say they voted for Colin Powell or John Lewis. There's no longer a chance to have an expression of one's views. This is a consequential vote. Listen to that statement. This is no longer a chance to have an expression of one's views. We don't give a damn what you think. We don't care what you want. So they treat their own members like they do the general public. At least they're consistent. Some Pelosi allies, however, see a silver lining in the pandemic as it relates to her success in keeping the gavel on January 3rd. In short, they say it could provide her critics, those who have promised voters they'll oppose her, with a convenient excuse not to be on the floor that day. COVID could be a helpful way to address some strategic absences, said the third House Democrat, also speaking anonymously to discuss strategy. Cowardly. If you got a member, let's say, who was boxed themselves in this way, they could have a sick or elderly relative in the household, or a new baby, or something else. Being strategically absent is a way to keep their pledge while lowering the denominator to help Pelosi. This is what these people think. They're cowardly, twisted manipulators. Let's pretend I have a sick, elderly person at my house. I can't come in. Make up some excuse. The dog ate me. You know what? They're actually saying they're not even hiding it anymore. It's unclear, of course, how many lawmakers might be forced to quarantine during the first week of the next year, but health experts are warning of such a surge in cases over the long December holidays when cold weather is forcing more and more people indoors. And some Democrats can see it's only inevitable that members of Congress will be affected like everybody else. Obviously, the concern is that with 435 people going all over the country, it's hard to imagine that one of us will have the virus on January 3rd, said a fourth House Democrat, anonymous, of course. Pelosi, the nation's first female speaker. Who gives a shit? She's a woman. Sorry, I already swore 2 or 3 times. Not going to matter now. Who cares? He's manipulative. She's borderline evil. Evil is a pretty strong term. And I know the left uses it for Trump. I don't like to use it because it's a very strong term. She's borderline. It's no stranger to fending off challenges in her leadership over the years. Most recently, she beat back a considerable revolt in 2018 when she squeaked to victory with 220 votes. And despite the thin margins, there's an overwhelming sense among Democrats that she'll find a way to do it again next month, coronas or none. There's the usual suspects who make it part of their brand to vote against her, but I think there's an awareness, and there's certainly a message coming from within the caucus, that this may not be a year for the usual branding, said Jim Himes, Democrat of Connecticut. We're a fractious bunch, but Pelosi very, very good at what she does, and she's going to earn her money. Good at what she does. Yeah, what she does is she's a political hack. Political hack, period. She's the poster person for what's wrong with Congress. Absolutely wrong. Remember that stupid video she made? What was it, $27 a pint of ice cream? She could care less about the average person. She is absolutely clueless what the American people are going through now, and she doesn't care. They still have the majority, barely in the House, and she wants to be Speaker, and Trump lost. That's all she gives a damn about. She's all she cares about. And when are minorities especially going to wise up to the Democrat nonsense? I was a Democrat my whole life, and I was a local elected official as a Democrat. I left the party in 2013, long before Trump, because I saw what idiots these people are. Many of them local, statewide, and now at the national level. They are clueless. Absolutely clueless. Look at this picture. You got one, she's screwing around on her phone, and the other two are talking while the Speaker of the House is talking. They could care less. They're just there to take up space and collect a check and get top-notch health insurance. They're worried about getting sick. They all have platinum plans. And what do we have? Many of us, like me that are self-employed, we have nothing. I get sick, I lose everything, which I still might, because this COVID has really destroyed my business. Anyway, folks, enough of that. These people are just below contempt. Until next time, goodbye and good luck.